When we speak about higher consciousness, we speak about a place that would enhance, we want to say lives, not only enhance your life, but enhance the lives of many, knowing the vibration is moving forth in the grandest sense of pureness, a vibration that matches higher consciousness. So your elevated consciousness, think of it as frequency matching the frequency of the universe, matching the frequency of source, if you will, matching the frequency of Mother Earth in itself. So when ones find their place of elevated consciousness, they find the place of elevated relief, elevated joy, elevated peace, and elevated ease. And why is that? Higher consciousness does not remove situations and experiences that would cause upset. Once again, all emotions are meant to be experienced. All emotions are meant to be felt. It is when the emotion is carried for a duration of time that it becomes part of one's persona. And it is very difficult when one has a personal vibration, let us say of anger. We use anger because it is easily reached. And they're always walking into their own vibration of anger. And even if relief were to come along, it may only be felt for a short period of time before the anger is brought forth once again. So think about thoughts and thought patterns. Isn't it true that you can be moving along your day and you hear a song, and the song can take you to a place that was so joyful, so rewarding, so comforting, and a song can take you to a place that does not feel very good at all. But just to hear the lyrics and the melody of the song takes one back in time to experience the experience over again in thought alone. That can be an aroma. The aroma of freshly baked bread could bring someone back to a place where their grandma reside and all things truly loving. When ones go back in time in thought, meaning, have you noticed that when you feel angry or resentful or hurt, fill it in, anything opposite to joy, let us say, when you feel discarded, when you feel less than, when you feel dismissed perhaps, when you are in that feeling, that emotional feeling, it is natural for your thought pattern to go, if you will, in search for all the events and circumstances, the experiences that brought forth that same feeling, sort of to keep feeding or keep alive the thoughts you are feeling. So when one is, let us say, in the state of being in love, feeling that the whole world is in the palm of one's hand, the excitement, the joy, the ease, the grace, the oneness, the feeling, the laughter, the wholeness that is felt when ones feel in love. They have fallen in love with something or someone. In that space truly is born grand creations, because it is a space that diminishes the upsets. And in that space of feeling in love, or the space of a loving feeling, by thought alone, ones can bring themselves to create something desired, something wanted. When ones are experiencing the feeling of anger, resentment, loss, sorrow, hurt, it is a natural coming forth of thoughts to take one back in time. Perhaps it is to a playground, perhaps it is an unkind word someone has spoken. And then it fuels the emotion. Isn't that fascinating? When does it change? When does the anger become the feeling of happiness? It is of grand truth that one cannot feel anger or resentment or sorrow or hurt and hold the feeling of happiness. It cannot be. One has to be placed down. Anger has to be placed down to bring forth the feeling of happiness or the like. And happiness has to be placed down to bring forth the anger or the like. Ponder that. It is big. It sounds so simple and so straightforward. Well, yes, it cannot feel happy when one is angry. But when you see it as a choice, we would then ask, what are you wanting to hold? What are you hanging on to that may need to be let down, let go of? Is it easy to let go of emotions that take you away? So let us talk about everything opposite to happiness, peace, and contentment. So you're experiencing emotions that have really taken you into a place and perhaps causing great amounts of havoc upon your being, upon your shoulders, weighted down just by thought alone. How is it that ones go from, let us say, the state of feeling depressed or the state of anguish to the state of feeling better in hopes of finding happiness? It is a shift in thought pattern. If one was feeling anger and they wanted to feel the opposite of, they wanted relief, and they wanted relief by thought alone, they would have to shift their thought process and remember or bring forth a thought that they feel would be happy. So going back in time, instead of going back in time to the bully in the playground, one's going back in time to a day that was so filled with love and joy, and reminisce in that experience. It is a conscious desire to shift the thought pattern. When thoughts are shifted in either direction, it would be known then that energy is shifted in either direction. You are shifting your vibrational energy. When ones reside for a long period of time, becoming one's personality, it can truly, we want to say, create steps of ease or create steps of disharmony. So when you think of emotions going forward, so if you are carrying the emotion of joy and contentment and peace and lightheartedness, and it's moving forward before you, and it moves around you, but we use you're moving into it. So you take a step into more joy. This does not mean you won't experience something sad or something that pops up that creates you to be angry for a moment or half a day or a day. the primary vibration is your joy. And so when you have extended periods of anger, resentment, frustration, feeling less than, it becomes your predominant energy, your predominant vibration, and hence you walk into it. It walks with you until you decide to shift the thought pattern of it. So the question we would like to ask is, why does it feel so natural and so easy to place down joy, to pick up anger, to pick up hurt, to pick up sorrow? You cannot carry both at the same time. One has to be placed down. You had to place down joy and happiness, contentment and ease and peace to pick up the anger. And it has to be placed down if you're going to hold the anger for a long period of time. So why does it feel so at ease, if you will, to let go of happiness, to pick up the opposite of? It doesn't feel sort of natural to let go of the unwanted emotions, to pick up happiness. So many feel that happiness is not even theirs to experience. They do not feel deserving of, if you will. They do not feel that anything will work out in their favor. They do not feel that life will get better. Fill it in. So many feel that happiness is so far out of reach, so far away, that it would be near impossible to find just a glimpse of happiness, a glimpse of hope or hopefulness. It is so easy to find the glimpse and not a glimpse, easy to find hopelessness, easy to find uneasy feelings, easy to find fear, easy to find, we want to say, emotional trauma and emotional pain. Why is that? Why does happiness feel so far out of reach and anger never feels far out of reach at all? There is a conditioning among souls upon Mother Earth, in one's belief systems, in conditioning, in doctrines, dogma, you name it, that happiness only comes to a few. And it comes in the form of money. It comes in the form perhaps of a big house. It comes in a form of, we want to say, success in one's career. It comes in the form of being popular. It comes in the form of. And isn't it something that there are many who have achieved what others see as success, if you will, what others see that would naturally bring happiness? So the perfect lover arrives, the perfect spouse arrives, the children arrive when one wants the children. The beautiful house arrives, the financial abundance arrives, the fame perhaps arrive. It all is experienced. And that one finds a space to take their own life. Ponder that. There is a conditioning upon the planet that certain, we want to say, factors must be met in order to find happiness. And have you ever met someone who truly lacked, if you will, in the social bar of life? They do not live in a big, beautiful home. Perhaps they don't even live in a home. They do not have financial wealth. They seem to be on their own, if you will. No lover, no friends, no family. And they may be one of the happiest people you have ever come across in life, and you cannot understand how they would feel happy with what they are living without the components that most would feel would bring happiness. So what is the conditioning? What in your world of beliefs, and again, not here to change a belief, but what in your world do you think would have to happen in order for you to feel better? Because there is always an expectation. There is always, well, until the money arrives. When the money arrives, I will feel better. I will be able to buy my desires, my house, my new car. I will be able to buy new clothes to attract my spouse, my lover. When the new career arrives, then I will have worked my way up the corporate ladder and all things well. When the children arrive. And it doesn't take long for the same desires that felt would bring happiness, waiting for something else, for using the same foundation to bring happiness. So perhaps the one that is climbing the corporate ladder now will only seek happiness when they find retirement, when they have created enough wealth that they can retire. And so they don't see happiness in the corporate ladder anymore. They see happiness coming to them as they retire from what they first desired would bring them happiness. So the children have arrived, and oh, wouldn't it be something? I will have happiness when the children are off to college, university, when the children are out on their own. Oh, I will be happy when those children have children and I can be a grandparent. I will be happy when. So the same building blocks create the next building blocks to seek happiness. Something is expected in order to feel happy, joyful, content, peace. Isn't that fascinating? So being in higher consciousness is truly finding a place to live in the moment. Now this you've heard before, absolutely. Living in the present moment. It is true. It is of grand truth. You are creating from where you are standing. Think about emotions and it going forth and you taking a step into your own personal vibration. In the moment, knowing it's only the moment that is, for nothing will remain the same in the next moment. It is impossible. Everything on the planet is moving in vibration. Everything is moving in energy. Everything is creating vibration and energy, allowing space to meld with the energy of the universe or not. When ones are continually seeking that something has to happen in order to find happiness, it's a long journey to travel. Ones do not ponder what will bring aggravation. Oh, I can't wait for this to happen so I feel angry. Oh, I can't wait for this to happen so I can feel sad. Oh, I can't wait for this to happen so I can feel hurt. That would feel absurd. But ones tend to feel they have to line up something for happiness. Isn't that fascinating? And that is where living in the moment truly is a grand step along your journey of higher consciousness. It is difficult to live in the present moment, for thoughts, as we mentioned, will take you back in time. You're going throughout your day, you walk by a bakery and you smell the aroma of fresh baked bread. And that may take you to a glorious place. Or perhaps it takes you to a place that you don't wish to return to. For at one time in your life, you were baking bread all the time, and it became tiresome and was not employment that you enjoyed. It is not an easy task, and we don't want to call it a task. We can call it an awareness. It is difficult to be aware, to be mindful in the moment, to be mindful of the moment. It feels like a lot of work, and at times it is. To train your thoughts is truly bringing in, you want to sort of rein in the thoughts. You want to condition your thoughts to hold you in a personal vibration of peace and joy and ease, contentment, happiness, enlightenment. It is difficult to do when your thoughts can easily bring you back to something that will create anger, frustration, hurt. Living in the moment is mindfulness, meaning consciousness to live in the moment. And if you're living in the moment of complete anguish and anger, despair, fill it in, fear, one must be mindful enough to change the thought pattern in knowing the personal energy is moving forth and one is walking into, if you will, the personal energy of one's own vibration. A distraction away from, and this is where alcohol and drugs, prescription medication, drugs, if you will, to alter emotional behavior. This is where, fill it in, eating and sex will relieve the feeling of the opposite, will bring forth relief. Because what one is truly doing is changing their thought pattern, bringing relief, but in a way that is not always conducive to the health of one's body, mind, heart, and soul. Higher consciousness allows one to bring forth the highest sense of relief without the use of. Now, ones will challenge and say, yes, but I really enjoy my drink. I really enjoy my consumption of drugs. And we are not condemning or condoning. We are just sharing that higher consciousness opens a space for ones not to feel dependent upon something else that's going to change to bring them happiness. So having the drink, if you will, at the end of the day, no, is there anything wrong with that? No. To some, they feel that there is everything wrong with that. That's in their belief system. To another, no, they feel there's everything right with it. I feel better. I can be myself. It tastes good. I enjoy it. I'm very social. Whatever it is, you can see where it is a belief. We can say the same thing about smoking. To some, it is detrimental to the body, mind, heart, and soul. Some smoke, if you will, and they feel that it is the greatest thing that they can do for their heart, mind, and soul, and body. Ponder that. So it's really in the belief system and the perception of one, what the perception is, and the one that is experiencing it. And that is why ones can be angry over something and someone else with the same thing delivered can feel relief. It lies in a belief system. It lies in the thoughts. So, it feels like it goes in circles. Higher consciousness is the understanding of living as close to eternal light as one can upon Mother Earth. Higher consciousness is understanding one's own light shines light upon others' light in comfort, relief, in compassion and kindness. It is difficult to feel compassion for another if one is in a space of feeling anything but good. And again, kindness, one can be so over the top kind to the people they love, to a total stranger, to an animal, beyond a 10 level of kindness, and find a place to be so unkind to their own self. So unkind to their own self, talking in unkind words, harsh judgment, harsh condemnation towards oneself. Most that dialogue of harsh, unkind words continues even as they get dressed in the morning, or they shower and they get dressed. The dialogue doesn't stop condemning one's own physical apparatus, one's own physical self. And even if ones are feeling less than anything but good, then condemning may start because they do feel less than good. They do feel angry, and they scold themselves for being angry, scold themselves for feeling disheartened, scold themselves for feeling saddened. So it's always scolding. And we say unkind words delivered to oneself is truly like metaphor hitting a nail on the top, on the head of the nail with a hammer, coming down and allowing that nail to be driven into where it is placed. And when there's unkind words spoken to oneself, the metaphor is, it is like taking a sledgehammer and hammering yourself into where you are placed. It is difficult to move forward when you have pounded yourself into the ground so much, there is no movement. How many times have you condemned yourself to the place of feeling only exhaustion? Beating upon oneself, beating upon oneself. Higher consciousness will not ever allow one to beat upon oneself. For higher consciousness brings forth eternal light, and in eternal light is held the knowing of oneness, perfection, and miracles. You are here for great reason and grand purpose, and most can't see that at all. Well, what is my purpose? And I'm not very grand. The purpose is to bring forth the components of your inner essence to create a vibration of the pureness of who you are. So in a nutshell, said a different way, the purpose of your life is to live in love. And it seems so far off for so many. Live in love. This is BS. Are you kidding me? This is BS. Who can live in love under these conditions? But if ones were to bring forth their light of love, the conditions would change. Think vibration. You would walk into love. And if every soul went within and placed down the condemnation and judgment upon oneself, only love for oneself, they too would be walking into their own vibration of love. And as a collective consciousness, with love trumping all vibration, the planet would change, and it would not feel like BS. It would feel more than possible to live in the state of love. upon Mother Earth. Really, really, really good. We will conclude this segment. There is great love for you.